Now, under the theme Delivering on Africa's Promise, the 23rd World Economic Forum on Africa seeks to provide a strategic platform for regional and global leaders from business, government, civil society to obviously engage on opportunities to improve the continent's competitiveness, foster economic growth, and ensure resilience in a volatile environment. We speak to Chuck Slaughter. He's a social, or rather a young social entrepreneur, and he's attending the conference, and we want to understand the value of this platform and if it is indeed poised to unlock the opportunities on the continent. Chuck, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you down in Cape Town. You have investment interest in Uganda. Take us through what is unique about the product, because it's particularly targeted at the poorer sector of the market, in fact, in terms of micro enterprises. Why are you keen to get involved in this, and what is the kind of value proposition for you as a private entrepreneur in the sector particularly?
So thank you very much. I'm an entrepreneur by birth, I suppose, and what we're doing with Living Goods in Uganda and East Africa is creating a platform where we build and support networks of independent agents who go door to door, teaching people how to improve their health and wealth, and then selling low-cost, high-impact, and often life-changing products like clean cook stoves, solar lights, fortified foods, and simple treatments for malaria and diarrhea. I happen to think that this is a very, very exciting time for entrepreneurship in Africa and in emerging markets, broadly speaking. We see the convergence of three very powerful trends. One that goes back 30 years, which of course is microfinance. And then what we're seeing in the last 10 years or so on top of that is the growth of the direct selling businesses here in Africa. And I'm thinking specifically of Avon, Amway, Herbalife, these companies. And then thirdly, of course, we have the advent of mobile technology and the ability for every small entrepreneur to be in instant communication with their customers.
Now, one of the things...
this is making... Yes?
Do continue, Chuck. I'm saying,
yes.
One of the things that fascinates me is, of course, that you're a young entrepreneur. Africa's big, demographic is in fact young people. To what extent are you targeting youth as a sector and to get involved in entrepreneurship when you look at how to grow your business, particularly in Uganda?
We're not expressly targeting young people, but we're finding, particularly where mobile technology is an empowering force in this model, that young people are more acquainted with and more facile with mobile technology. So some of our highest performing agents are under the age of 25. And of course, that's exciting to us because this is a segment of the population which is in sore need of employment.
Now, in terms of the business, model that you follow, are there partnerships with locals? You're talking about direct selling here, but what kind of empowerment element is involved in your business? We know that very often many countries like South Africa, for example, do have certain criteria, and that business should also involve, locals, and that you need to kind of leave some kind of legacy. The idea is not just to kind of come in, extract what you can from the market or exploit the market, but that you need to build. What are the kinds of partnerships that you're going into with Ugandans and building up that entrepreneurship within that country itself?
Well, partnerships are extremely important to us at Living Goods, and we use them in many ways. We partner with a number of local companies. Two of our best-selling products come from local manufacturers in Uganda. One from a company, a fortified foods production company, another from a cook stove manufacturing business called Yuga Stove. So wherever possible, we look for local suppliers, and we're trying to build our business and build local manufacturing at the same time. But partnerships on a broader scope is a much bigger piece of our strategy. Mm-hmm. Our goal is not just to build a successful social enterprise. Our goal is really to change the landscape and to bring high-impact products to millions of people. And the way we foresee doing that is through partnerships on a grand scale. And really, one of the reasons we're here at WEF is because of the partnerships we have with some of the big consumer brands like P&G, Nestle, Unilever, and so forth. We think there's a revolution coming in consumer goods. And we think some of these companies as powerful as their brands are, they're a little bit sleeping giants. And the mobile revolution, I think, has really is sneaking up on them. And we see that if we look forward to the next 5 or 10 years, we think that the combination of direct selling and mobile may leapfrog traditional retailing here in Africa in the same way that mobile phones leapfrogged landlines.
Now, of course, one of the big impediments, of course, is the issue of risk. In the kind of business that you're in, how do you calculate that risk, and how do you mitigate it in the final analysis, Chuck?
It's a great question. The direct selling model, Avon, it's really a version of the same model that drives McDonald's. And by the way, I learned this business directly. I actually became an Avon lady briefly myself to learn from the inside. I didn't crush it on lipstick sales, but we learned a lot. And one of the things you learn about the direct selling business is that it started over 130 years ago. And in the last 5 years, it's been one of the fastest growing segments. In fact, it's grown at 2 or 3 times the rate of the broader consumer segment. So we think it's a very powerful model. And one of the reasons it's so powerful is that it's very intelligent at sharing risk. And so franchising, of course, is built on the idea of sharing risk between a franchisor, a franchisee, and a lendor. And the reason it's so successful is that risk is shared in a very intelligent way. The franchisees get access to a proven business model, and the franchisors get access to that classic thing that all businesses like, which is other people's money.